Vaughn, I want to read something to you, uh, but maybe Mark Elias or Sheldon White, is it Sheldon Whitehouse?
Yeah, Sheldon Whitehouse.
Sheldon Whitehouse can answer it for me because I was looking at looking at his platform,
Democracy docket.
Democracy Doctrine, and the book that I had read was Without Precedence. And I guess in my head, I'm trying to think of that word, stare decisis. And I can't understand why John Roberts is deciding anything when he's broke precedents on everything and not giving out information and using shadow dockets to try to give uh, DJT all this power and authority when they know that this man's mind is not working at all. And so um, when I came across the word stare decisis is the legal doctrine that courts should follow prior precedents when deciding later cases involving similar facts of legal issues. It is central to common law systems such as those in the United States and the United Kingdom. So, how there have been so many precedents broken by the Roberts courts, and there has been no explanation. And Kavanaugh boldly states that we don't need an explanation. They don't have to explain anything to the people, you know. And what puzzles me is for them to come off like that with having started decisive. Why should anybody follow the Supreme Court when they had taken an oath, knowing that they're not, you know, working for the, fighting for the people and rule of law and constitution when they're fighting for corporate entities. Okay, so the basic meaning, the term stare decisis, come from the Latin word to stand by things decided or let the decision stand. So what decision line have they let stand?
They ain't let nothing stand, and they're about to destroy even more precedents. Like, for instance, the slaughter case that could end Humphrey's decision. 90-year precedents there.
They did end.
That they ended it, and now they're going about to finish that off.
They ended Roe v.
Well,
Wade.
Roe v. Wade.
They ended
They ended
the one with the fishermen's what was it? Regulations and
the Chevron
the
decision.
Chevron.
The Chevron
I mean,
decision.
they've ended a lot
A
of
lot of stuff,
precedents.
and they're going to end more. Like the 1964-65 Civil Rights Act is going to be coming to an end. Voting Rights Act, Section 2. And they also got rid of Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act.
It said, under this doctrine, earlier decisions create rules that later courts are expected to apply in cases raising comparable questions. Okay, and it says vertical stare decisis required lower courts to follow binding decisions of higher courts in the same jurisdiction, for example, a trial court following the Supreme Court. So the lower courts have been basically the guardrails, and they have totally disrespected
The
the
lower
lower
courts,
courts.
and not
And I don't
only
like calling them the lower courts because they have been the major defense, while the Supreme Court has done what? Just ran butt naked wild and
and
have no
overruled the
reason.
lower courts, and not only overruled the lower courts, but put the judges in those lower courts' lives at risk at the
And
process.
then they said horizontal stare decisis refers to a court following its own prior decision unless there is a strong reason to depart from it. None of the reasons that, as a matter of fact, they didn't even want to give people a reason. Like I said, Kavanaugh blew us off, and Roberts, they didn't have no reason. They just ended it without any explanation and hid in the dark. When the people found out about it, it basically had been decided.
Yep,
You
it's been
know,
decided anyway.
they,
In the dark.
Congress gave their power
The
up to.
Republicans in Congress gave him power. The Republicans House and the Republicans Senate gave away their power.
It says the doctrine promotes predictable and consistent development of legal rules so people can plan their conduct with some confidence about legal consequences.
There is no conduct that they plan. They're above the law, and that's just it.
It said it's also said to foster reliance on judicial decisions and to support the real and perceived integrity of the judicial process.
There is no integrity. They don't even know what the meaning of the word integrity it is. But integrity is not even their vocabulary.
You know what? There is no trust
There's no trust and there's no integrity.
because I don't feel that the Supreme Court should be coming forth making any type of decision when they stood there and took an oath and they lied. They lied doing
their Senate confirmation hearings. They lied in their
everything
hearings.
that
They
they
called
said.
voter
Yeah, everything that they said that they
was
wouldn't
a
do
lie. And
was
if
a
you
lie.
lie in front of a Congress, you get 5 years in jail.
And they're still making decisions. And I guess my question to Mark Elias and not Adam Schiff, to
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
to Sheldon Whitehouse is, can the and like I said, I don't like to call them the lowest courts because to me they are the higher courts, and there have been Agora arrests. Can the courts break from the Supreme Courts, just like like the states, they can break from the United States, right?
Right.
So can the courts break from the Supreme Court since they know they lied? Since because there's no trust there. I mean, it's kind of like when you go to an attorney like Paul Wise, and he's gonna take your case. He can't take your case now because he's beholden to who?
He's beholden to DJT and the right wing and the Heritage Foundation.
So that means that whatever happens to you, your case is gone when he come back and say, well, I can't do something because he's already made his alliance to.
He made his alliance to DJT and the right wing of the Republican Party.
So these major 6 judges have made their alliances to the Koch brothers, to
Leonard Leo and the Federalist Foundation, and the Federalist Society, and the Heritage Foundation.
And so basically, to all
Harold Crow and other right-wing corrupt billionaires. Not all billionaires are bad. I'm talking about the bad billionaires.
Have made their alliances to not we the people, not the Constitution or the rule of law, but to these entities. And now coming in, anything that Trump says in the lower courts should just be disregarded. They should break from them, because you can't. I just don't believe any of these constitutional lawyers believe, the Supreme Court. They've killed themselves. They've stuck themselves to a man that can't even say anything decent about
decent about Rob Ryder.
Yeah.
Which I did want to post about that. An enemy of humanity. That's who he is. He is worse than Roger Taney.
Roger
Taney. Yeah.
That decision was the Dred Scott decision.
The Dred Scott decision.
And we're dreading it all. That's basically what it is. We are dreading it all. So I can't even see the black robes going up there, acting like they're going to give us the win and then get to the Supreme Court, because they have done major damage that can't be, turned.
It cannot. It's going to take maybe even 100 years to reverse that damage. Like the civil rights laws in 1964 and 1965, after Roger Taney in that case.
Okay, it says, relation to precedents. A precedent is the earlier decision of a case that serves as a model. And everything that has happened in this moment in time has been unprecedented, right?
Right.
And none of this serves as a model. And it's a totally different fight. While stare decisis is the principle that directs court to adhere to their model. So we don't really basically have a model.
No, we don't. We don't have a model at all. We don't.
It says, in practices, judges must interpret whether a prior case truly governs the new dispute, which leaves room to distinguish, limit, or occasionally overturn earlier rulings. So the bottom line is, Robertson went up there and made all this shit up. And it's like this follow the leader pack. They said it on their podcast that basically, not only, like he said, Thomas, what gives Thomas the right to take all this money from the guy that he's taking? Harold Crow, because taking money from, because Abrams said, when you get on here, call these people's names. I'll call them and let them know that, hey, you're watching this. We're watching what the Supreme Court has done, and they've hurt our country.
And they're going to hurt it even worse unless we expand the courts And unless we have term limits for the courts,
Yes, because term limits is necessary, and expanding the court is necessary, and getting these judges that's there out of there.
like getting these traitorous judges out for there, they need to be in prison. That's what they need to be doing. They need to be arrested along with DJT and the right wing.
And I have said on several occasions, I said I didn't want to come up here without any information, without knowing, without being able to have a receipt or quote, to explain to people what the courts are doing. And they're stripping us of our rights. And basically, in this book, without precedence. This is a very good book. Lisa Graves said, in a dazzling, brilliant slew and dark money apparatus that has corrupted the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is bought out. They're bought out. It's, without precedence reveals how Chief Justice Roberts and the other right-wing justices mangled the Constitution in service to a group of shadowy billionaires extremists. It's a devastating, passionate takedown of Chief Justice Roberts' Supreme Court by a Washington insider, progressive activist, and eyewitnesses to Roberts' rise to power. As a top Democratic lawyer to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Lisa Graves was in the room where it happened for many of the most hard fought battles over America's highest courts. Now she tells the inside story. Anyone concerned about justice in America should read this book. And I am concerned because we have a man running around butt naked wild that they want to give power to with the codes. And, and as you said in your video, you can't code what?
You cannot code integrity, you cannot code respect, and you can't code love, and you can't code compassion.
And the grown up in the room was Justice Sotomayor, who said that, you're going to hand all this power over to this guy? You're
changing the fundamentals of the government itself in the Humphreys decision. Yeah, in Slaughter, where they can just fire you at will. And this is a dream of another guy that's also very dangerous that nobody talks about. Have you ever heard of the name Curtis Yarvin?
Tell us about Curtis Yarvin.
Curtis Yarvin was the one that was one of those tech geeks. He was the one that made the acronyms of RAGE. And what RAGE stand for? Replace government workers, government employees. That's the acronym of RAGE. And his idea was to replace the experts, government workers, government bureaucrats with sycophants that's loyal to him. Back in 2012. So this is Curtis Yarvin's work since back in 2012.
I just want to thank Lisa Graves for writing this book because every time when I reflect back on the information and that word stare decisis come up, I think about how hard and I don't like to say the lower courts because I don't really feel like they're the lower courts.
They're the real true
because the Supreme
Court
Court really never had that much power, and now they're just drunk with power. And the Congress have just rolled over and just
the Republican Congress, which is Mike Johnson and John Thune, the majority leader, the Republicans in Congress
have rolled over and just want to give all the power to a man that has been under investigation. Jack Smith then came out the woodwork. Thank you, Jesus, for Jack Smith. We appreciate all the help that you're doing now. And I didn't even know that he was ill during the time when he had taken on this case. He came out and to help, with prosecuting DJT. And what amazes me, I know other countries are looking at this like we can't believe that you know what this man has done, and
other countries like Europe and another one that couldn't believe it is Brazil. Brazil was the one that had the similar incident to January 6th with Jair Bolsonaro. But what the Brazilian courts did was they barred Jair Bolsonaro and put him in jail for 27 years. That's how Brazil showed us how we should have dealt with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And Bolsonaro was the Trump of the tropics.
Yeah. But, it's just, and I know it's a lot going on in the world, but the Supreme Court has dealt the American people just a raw deal. And
It's worse than a raw deal. It could be a death deal.
yeah,
That's what it is. It's a death deal.
because and Mark Elias has said on several of his podcasts that this is not going to get fixed today.
It's going to take 50 to 100 years to get
I
fixed.
don't know if it's going to take 50 to 100 years, but I know it's going to be a long time. And they have destroyed a lot of fabric in our Constitution. And they're still running around
Trying to destroy even more of the Constitution, what's left. They're even taking on another case called with the 14th Amendment, which is trying to limit or even destroy the 14th Amendment. And once you destroy the 14th Amendment, that means that we won't even have a country. We'll be stateless.
Well, and they're doing all this for the tech bros, the
Just
billionaires.
the white tech bros, the corrupt tech bros that don't have no social, emotional intelligence.
So they have just sold the American people out. Money shouldn't have ever came to play in giving out secrets in our country uh, to a man that, as I had said many years ago, has been ill and never had any help. Uh,
He had enablers. He
yeah.
had helpers. It's called enablers. There are two types of help: help that to stop the behavior and enablers.
Well, I I think what's hard for me sometimes to make content when I'm looking at information, because I said I didn't want to get up and make a video and didn't have receipts or didn't have a book to quote from, is because I know that a lot of people that come at you, you know want to think that you're making this up. No,
No, we're not making that up.
this is about the facts. Just like on Rachel, we look at her and she's been saying this for years.
It's about the facts. It's about cutting the noise and talking about the facts. We don't do no videos or no live stream without the facts, without the information.
And I have said and I noticed, like I said, on several occasions, I don't say like and subscribe because I don't like none of this shit, and I really don't
And
like.
I really don't subscribe to this crap.
But if you like this video, I will say it this time, because we are putting out the truth. We're putting out facts. And I feel like we're due like and subscribe, because we don't need that type of validation that other people. This is not about,
Subscribe for the truth. Don't just subscribe for us, because this is not about us at this point. The truth is the one that we need to be promoting.
And that's what we have to do. We have to rebuild the truth. And if you like this video, subscribe to the truth.
Subscribe to the truth.
Facts. Because this is not about you liking us, because I don't give a damn.
We don't give a damn if you like us or not.
We
It's
don't.
the truth.
And like I said, one of the hardest things for me as coming up here making content, and when they talk about the Epstein files, and here you got judges knowing all this is going on, and they're probably part of all of this. They're probably part of this whole conspiracy with the Epstein, because they're bringing out information and pictures about YouTube CEO and Google and all these people, and then you get up here and you think I'm on your platform and you part of this, and you changing the algorithm so that we won't
say certain words.
so we can't say certain words because you don't want to hear those words because you participated at that time, allegedly or whatever.
I don't even use the word allegedly.
I know, but I'm just saying the Roberts courts have looked at what has taken place in America, but yet and still they're still trying to give this man power. And the power is because they want to enable their cause, because they know that DJT doesn't have the ability to put any of these plans in place.
What they're really doing is looking for someone next that is even more dangerous than DJT, like a JD Vance or a Tom Cotton. That's what they're waiting for. Someone more smarter than him.
Well, I don't call Vance that smart.
I don't think he's smart either.
And we now we see that the tech bros aren't really that smart, because the way they speak and talk is ridiculous, and they all seem like they all drugged out. But these are the people that the Supreme Court wants to go with, and that's why I was saying in my head about stare decisis. I don't think that I'm going to look into this film camera and just say, I don't feel that any of the real Supreme Court, which is the lower courts, the courts that's been fighting for us, I don't think that they should follow the leader, follow the Supreme Court, because everything that the Supreme Court has done has been against the Constitution, the rule of law, and we the people. And we're well aware of that. You're not working for us. You're working for
You're trying to
Russell
work to
Vogt,
destroy us.
Steve Miller. Ask anybody who's the president of the United States.
Could it be either Pam Bondi or Christy Nome?
It could be anybody, but it's not DJT. And
or could it even be Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
Jesus Christ, just him being in the medical
field
is just too much.
It just explodes my mind. Just that right there just makes my head want to explode.
But what makes my head explode is knowing this about this court, knowing that these people have our lives in hand, which is another bomb, knowing that they're backing somebody, like Sotomayor said, oh, just, you come up here and make this shit up, and you're going to hand this man all this power, knowing what you know? They lied. I don't think they should be moving forward and trying to make any more decisions. I want these judges from the lower courts to just say, shit, you know what? We're going to go butt naked wild too. And we're not going to agree with any damn thing you all say. We're going to break ranks, because this is the moment in time that we're in that they can't use that rule book. That rule book doesn't apply, because Roberts don't think it apply. Whatever they say goes. And who can decide something on a little notepad? They don't even give you that no more. But we just want you to know that we're grasping this, we're understanding this, and we totally disrespect what the Supreme Court has done.
They don't deserve any respect.
None whatsoever. And they need to be definitely out of there within term limited.
They need to be term limited, and they need to be in prison. They don't need to be senior staff. They need to be in prison
for the things that
they need to do what we need to do. We need to follow the example of Brazil when it comes to corruption like this, and just lock these guys up.
And I really don't like to speak on Clarence Thomas, because it just makes.
I hate that guy.
We don't like to use the word hate, but we I don't like to really talk about, because he has a book out there too. He has a book out there too, and he has been so corrupt, and nothing about him is for
He's a traitor.
Well, yeah.
He's a race traitor.
Okay, nothing has been about helping us, because as they
he's
said,
about helping himself and denying other blacks.
Because I don't ever remember him giving me a ride on his bus from Harlan Crow and nobody else. But he's aligned with all these people that has about money, and it's dangerous when you sell our top secrets, when you sell years of what people have put together, people with the expertise. These people don't have the expertise in any of this. None of these judges, but yet and still they're striking down presidents after presidents after presidents. So that's what my question is. My question is, when you get to stare decisis, do they have to follow the leader? Do they have to heed to the Supreme Court? Because everything that the Supreme Court has done has been unprecedented. Everything is unprecedented, whether it's vertical, horizontal, upside down, sideways, or whatever. Can they break from them? And I'm just saying that personally, I feel that they should break from them.
They should break. I know they should rebel.
Well, wait. I know Mark said that he have hope, and that's good. Okay, wait. He has hope for when dealing with the Supreme Court. Now, seeing all the things that they've done, and how they've took out Roe v. Wade, and how they've taken out major precedents,
And then they're going after with the Voting Rights Act. I don't think there is no hope for this court.
Well, anytime you sit back and plan for 40 or 50 years.
Because they've been planning this for 40 to 50 years. See, hope is a terrible strategy to me.
Well, bottom line is, when it comes to John Roberts, I'm going to hold, I went over this again. And there's a lot in this book, and it makes my head spin. I can't believe that Lisa Graves have just watched this in real time, uh, because, like I said, this is not a regular fight. And the fight that they're fighting, we don't want to go back to 1850s, 17, anything.
And
And
what's even going to be worse about this fight is that it's going to be computers. It's going to be like supercomputers that you're going to be fighting against. That's going to be much worse than the fight of the 1870s or even the 1960s.
well, Bernie Sanders said, if AI want to step out there and step up to the plate so much for it, but it got to be for all people, not just for the tech bros to control everybody in the world. It has to be for everybody. And if it can't be for everybody, then we don't. That's something that we need to look at and basically say, hey, it's got to be rules for this, because they'll go wild with their AI. AI just take totally over, which
They take over humans, and it was
which they're
science
trying to
fiction to
do.
truth, which is the truth.
And I I'm gonna say it again. We're going for the truth. We're going for, a lot of people have made videos on the concept of, you know, for monetization, okay? And I I guess in my head, I don't even think they took a I even wrote in one of the Substacks, I don't even have a subscribe button on there. But I'm just saying, if you like the video, if you like it, subscribe, because
Subscribe for the truth.
for the
Don't be
truth.
subscribing.
You know, I'm not asking, I know a lot of people probably says, I don't like her. I don't like her tone. I don't give a damn if you don't like my tone. But what I do care about, I care about the nation. I care about this country. I care about
The
the
world.
people, and the world. And I feel that what has happened is just a disgrace. And it even got more disgraceful when those statements came out about Reiner. What I'm feeling is that this is just so much bullshit, because people that are, I'll just say, younger or older than me, we have lived this already, and this is something that I did not want to see for millennials,
Or Generation Z or
Generation
millennials.
Z,
And it's even going to be
anybody,
worse.
and it's gonna be worse.
It's going to be worse for us than it was back then, the baby boomers and your generation. It's going to be way
And we
worse.
could have a country that could be at the top of its game, but we have a sitting president, and I don't like to say that, a sitting president
Criminal,
who
rapist.
who every strike that. We're not going to say that, okay? And I no, we're not going to say that, because this is, no. We'll strike that. It's rapist. That's what they want you to say. And I know you angry, because we get angry about it. It makes all of us angry. But we'll strike it, because put strikes on your videos. Because, like I said, they may be allegedly participants,
They
and
are
it's
participants.
it's all coming out. But the bottom line is that, uh, you know, it's sad, because when I'm up here, I'm basically stating that
The
we
pedophile.
don't need, that validation. It disgusted me, because a lot of people didn't come out and make one damn video about their country, and they could carry on. They're in their element, and that's okay. They're in their element, but still, with everything that has happened in this world, it would be common sense to just say that, hey, I need to stop and say something. It's not going to throw your whole package of video off. I don't get that, but who's in control of all this? Who's leading the pack in algorithm? The very people
The
that's
very people that created this mess in the first place.
right, and got the Supreme
And
Court backing them.
yeah, it
That's
got the Supreme Court backing them, and that could be part of the Epstein files, participating in pedophilia and some criminal stuff.
so that's I'm gonna go back to Stare Decisis. I'm gonna look in the camera, and I'm gonna ask the question again. Mark Elias and who?
And Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Because I'm just just saying Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. For some reason, I want to say Adam Schiff, but he's working on another end. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Can these courts break from the Supreme Court because they have lied. And I don't think that they need to take another decision up and say they're going to decide anything when we the people know that they don't work for the people. They don't work for us. They work for corporate America. They've sold us out, you know. All of it's about money. And when it gets to be about money, what happens? What happens when we don't have no we're basically back in slavery. That's what it is. That the rich can do whatever they want.
And it is serfs and back to slavery. That's what it is. We'd be back to slavery all over again, because that's where it's going.
And I just really don't have any respect. And I'm just trying to think, a lot of the judges, I know in my heart that these men have spent their life with constitutional law. I know the trust is gone. I don't even know how Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson,
and Elaine
Caney can sit there with them
every
single day, knowing that they doing all this backroom shit to take the country down. I bet that's just hard.
It's worse than hard. It's despicable. It's worse than hard.
Well, for me to even have to go back and tell people that have said, I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice, one day I want to be the president. We're not telling people to be these people anymore.
We're not. No, we're not. No. We're telling people that we're telling people at this point is get your money as much as you can, build your own businesses, and get out of the United States.
Well, everybody don't want to leave the United States. No, everybody, if you can't solve the problems in this country, then you don't need to go to another country. And what this man has done...
It's destroyed the country and the world.
That's what I'm saying. He has made it bad for not just our country.
He's made it bad for the rest of us, for mental health, and for millenniums like me.
But I'm going to go back to the Supreme Court because they know all of this. And I don't feel like they should make one more decision about our country.
They took to burn in hell. That's what they said.
They took an oath. They took an oath, not for we the people.
They took an oath for the corporation. That's what they did.
Okay, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that, bottom line is that they took an oath, and that oath was not to the people. They took an oath to sell us out. Thomas sold us out many years ago. Many years ago.
He's a race trader.
Okay. And what I'm saying here is that this is a different fight. It's not precedence, it's unprecedented. And since it said it's unprecedented under stare decisis, that means that really none of this shit really exists. And they need to be fighting a different way. That's all I'm saying. They can't go in and agree with Thomas, with
Alito, with Gortress, with Amy Coney Burnett. They are traitors.
The Roberts courts is a court that's an undercover court for corporate, for money. It's not for us. And they sit there and lie, and I don't think that they should come and hold another session, another rule, when they got drunks up there, when they
two of them were drunks, and one of them was a drunk, and two of them was even accused of sexual assault.
Okay, so with that being said, different fight, different day, and again, can anybody out there, Mark or Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, can you tell me, can the lower courts, which I don't like to call the lower courts, which have really fought hard for us, which have been our guardrails, can they break precedence with the Supreme Court? That's what I'm saying.
I'm in favor
and
of
on that note, we're going to get out of here. And if you like this video, go ahead, like, subscribe. But subscribe to the truth. And the truth is, I'm not coming up here without any receipts, without any books, without any information, without doing my research, my homework, because I do end up looking at other information. I respectfully have to say that the independent networks have taught us so much, and we will continue to learn. And on that note, I appreciate you looking at this video. And once again, if you like the video, subscribe to the truth, because that's what I'm going to be coming up here telling. And if I can't find it, I'm not going to be up here. I'm going to be looking. I'm going to be looking. So on that note, we're out.
Yeah.